Oh.
Hi everybody, today is Wednesday, December 11th, and our friend Ray McGovern is back with us. Welcome back, Ray.
Thank you, Nima.
Ray, let's start with what's going on right now in Syria. We've learned as we talk that HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, set the tomb of former President Hafez al-Assad on fire, and they burned his coffin. On this street, they're talking about they're asking people to talk about their faith, their religion. They have to answer them, and they're killing people. They have started killing ordinary people. And on the other hand, in the West, we are witnessing that they're trying to Zelenskyfy this new leader.
Zelenskyfy, I like that very much.
Yeah. How do you find the situation, Ray?
Well, Nima, it's quite extraordinary. You may know that I have this briefing of the president, Robert Scheer, every week. And this past episode was just 3 hours after the president, the real one, appeared in the Roosevelt room. We started to talk about the good news that Bashar al-Assad has fallen, and that this new group, we have to watch him, of course, but, it's going to be by implication, terrific improvement. Oh, we'll watch him, okay? Well, briefing the other president, Robert Scheer, 3 hours later, I said, Mr. President, you got a problem here. What's that? Well, this fellow we used to call a terrorist. Actually, we still call him a terrorist. This guy, Jolani, who you said now you're going to give millions to. And matter of fact, I don't think Tony Blinken thought to take him off the rewards for terrorists list. They're offering the State Department is $10 million for this guy. So, and the faux president says, "What?" He says, "Yeah." Well, he says, "When did you check the list?" I said, 10 minutes ago. He says, well, I don't know. I said, well, I know that Blinken was probably busy preparing your remarks for just 3 hours ago in the Roosevelt room. I want to talk about that too, because there were several things you should know that were not quite true in those remarks. But for the nonce, you really have to realize that get this guy off the terrorist list if you're going to deal with him, or your caution that somebody inserted in your remarks there in the Roosevelt room is completely well warranted. This guy is a head chopper. Now, Nima, I went on a slightly lighter vein, although true enough, I have some Christian Zionist friends, okay? And they were so rejoicing about Assad's removal and Jolani's appearance as the head of Syria for all intents and purposes, to the degree he is. And they said, this is amazing. It's as though it's as though he fell to the ground on his way to Damascus. And he heard a voice, Jolani, you're not Jolani anymore. You are not Al-Qaeda anymore. You are not Al-Nusra anymore. We give you 3 initials and nobody will be able to pronounce or understand. NTS. And so you're in. Wow. Can you imagine that? They said to me. I said, you're kidding. No. He had a conversion on the road to Damascus, right? Why can't you see that? You're a believer. Well, I can't see it. I'm sorry. I'm also an intelligence analyst. We just have to see how many heads get chopped off now. It's a weird situation. I mean, we have an expression here in America. It's a can of worms, okay? Now, with no disrespect to worms, the situation in Syria in particular, ever since the West tried to exploit what began as a legitimate protest by Syrian citizens against the indignities of the Bashar al-Assad regime. That was 2011, okay? Well, then we went in big time. And as I think I mentioned on this program before, we armed and supplied and trained moderate terrorism. We don't say terror, moderate rebels. Okay, it sounds a little better because we were rebels once 2.5 centuries ago. So moderate rebels, we invested at one point $500 million in training what we hoped would be thousands, and it turned out that the head of CENTCOM at the time, General Lloyd Austin, had to testify before Congress that what was the results of all that for the $500 million. Well, we have moderate rebels still in the fight. How many? 4 or 5. Anyhow, however embarrassed they were, they didn't stop. You had the agency training rebels in one part of Syria. You had the Pentagon training moderate rebels in the other part of Syria. And now we have a situation where Turkey, in my view, has gone way, way farther than it needed to. It inherits a mess here. Who is Jolani going to deal with? Well, I don't know. I don't know if even the...
No PAN, CDB é casamento da Bianca, cantinho do bebê ou comercial da Bruna. O Banco PAN tem o CDB que pode ser o que você quiser.
Even the Biden regime will be willing to deal with them, as we see. You know, initially we had CNN, and it was almost as though they decided to sheep dip, an intelligent term, all right? Sheep dip Sholani, put lipstick on this, pardon the expression, pig, and present him as the savior of Syria. Now, the big winner here, of course, is Israel. That's what this is all about. Now, Turkey expected to be the big winner. It's a can of worms for Turkey. There's some like 5 million Syrian refugees in Turkey. Are they going to get them back or push them back, or are they going to try to take over part of northern northern Syria? I don't know. But Israel is the big winner, and Israel now is crowing about bombing the hell out of the rest of Syria, leaving no military infrastructure, and actually creating more than a cordon sanitaire, more than just a buffer zone. Now they're into Syria. Why are they in there? Well, as Israel and the U.S. explained quite logically, Israel has the right to defend itself. And when there's a threat on its borders from some foreign country, well, Israel must go in there, not only seize the Golan Heights, which by all international law belongs to Syria, but now they've gone into Syria proper. Can't you understand? They need to defend themselves. Well, you know, comparisons are invidious. But, you know, when NATO was setting up in Ukraine, the infrastructure was there. When they spent 8 years training and equipping an army in Ukraine that was second to none in Western Europe, the Russians got a little worried. Did not the Russians have the right to defend themselves? I mean, nobody likes invading other countries, but I'm just saying that it's more than a rhetorical point here. It's a reality. If you are a powerful country and you feel a threat from another country, first of all, try to deal with them. Try to create a treaty or something if you're Russia. And when you turn down, in the final analysis, a great power will do what's necessary to defend itself, okay? The analogy is imperfect, but the rhetoric is very, very opposite. And we can go back to Kosovo. We can go back to all kinds of precedents where there's one set of rules for the Western powers and for our intelligence services, and there's another set of rules for Israel and for the United States. What else to say about? We ought to talk about how the Russians are treating this, but I don't want to go on endlessly, Nima. You may have other questions.
Ray, do you think that right now in Syria,